Power to the people. Power to the people. My name is Peter S. López, Acapita de Aztlán. I am transmitting to you from Sacramento, California, a nerve center of the fascist beast. Today I want to talk about the truth. Part of that truth is the realization that we are living under a mature fascism inside the United States. It is not coming or threatening. It's here. It's been becoming more and more obvious as the years go by. Yet, it got its origin during the presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Recall, he was elected 4 times and they changed the Constitution. As Benito Mussolini knew, fascism is when corporativism controls the state power. And this corporativism is the ruling class in this society. The situation is extremely complex, especially here in the USA. It requires you having to change some assumptions, reanalyze, take a keen look at connected reality. Our enemies are a global evil empire, fascism, and its fanatical flunkies. It is not simply American fascism. This brand of fascism does not cling to any one nation. It's global. And the ruling circles are connected at the top level of the various power pyramids in the world. The US, Russia, China, other countries. And together they comprise the mega corporate ruling class. And they control the world's economy. Then when you add in other factors like nationalism, racism, sexism, negativism in general, it gets even more complex. We'll never have a complete definition of fascism now. It's still evolving. It is mature, it is scientific, it is mercilessly counter-revolutionary. Now we have President Obama in the White House, re-elected. I voted for him the first time, I confess. The second time I voted for Jill Stein with the Green Party. there's a lot I want to transmit, and I want to keep to a few themes here. One is that we are living under a mature fascism, the most advanced fascism in human history. Two is we need to understand history as a guide to action. Study the history of the United States. I will leave a link to Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States below in the description. The U.S. has gone through a lot in its bloody history. Bloody history. It started out with, the people from England coming over here, so they wanted to be free, the colonialists and the poor Indians helped them survive. So we got Thanksgiving, and I'll tell you about the massacres. The USA is a product of two genocides. The genocide of millions of people who were original indigenous natives to North America, plus the genocide that occurred during the black slave trade. Then you had the whole big lie of manifest destiny, where these foreign invaders had this idea that it was, God's will that they come and conquer all these lands. And what we know now as the U.S. Southwest was Mexico. And of course before that, this was all native land. I use the term Aztlán, A-Z-T-L-A-N, for the U.S. Southwest. I'm a Chicano de Aztlán. A Chicano could be considered a Mexican American, but I am neither truly Mexican nor am I truly American. I'm that hyphen. I'm a Chicano. So, in a way, Chicanos are a tribe, an unrecognized tribe. Study the 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo. So a lot of this involves history, true history. And we can see along the way, like say with the Civil War, the American Civil War between the North and the South. It wasn't so much about freeing the slaves as it was in evolving the economy from one that was an agricultural based one to one that was had an industrial base. So in a way that was a revolutionary war. You see, when economies evolve to a certain point and they need to break through to evolve further, there is a revolution. Like say feudalism was revolutionary when it overthrew the earlier barbaric stage. Capitalism was revolutionary when it overthrew feudalism. And socialism can be revolutionary when it overthrows capitalism. But it gets more complex when you know it. Socialism has not really had an opportunity to fully develop and blossom in the context of corporate capitalism controlling the world economy. So we may end up in, if we live that long, we may end up in a form of democratic socialism, yet even there, democracy in a given country under specific settings could be tyranny for the minority, though it be democracy for the majority. So as I said, the situation in the world is quite complex. And what I want you to understand now is that we're living under a fascism. And it's been here for a long time. I believe that it laid its foundation during the presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. Remember, he was elected 4 times, and they changed the Constitution. So now we have, the world, it's wild, it's a mess, there's a lot of chaos, and, the minus 1% of the haves are locked in class warfare with the plus 99% of the have-nots. We saw Occupy Wall Street, when it was around with all its different encampments and stuff. And the beauty of that was that it was able to have people see that we're not just talking about, the president or the government, but, who controls the economy, looking at Wall Street. So major strategic errors were made by the Occupy Wall Street leadership, including them not wanting to be open leadership. And you don't make a revolution with everybody doing their own thing. You need to have a vanguard leadership. People who are accountable, people who are not faceless and anonymous, people who need to be known by the people. It's common sense to me. I've been involved in the movimiento or movement, different degrees, for about 40 years now. Back when I was like sweet 16. Yes, I was sweet 16 once upon a time. Anyway, I'm just sharing this with you, and I've seen so much happen over the decades. I've seen movements come and go. Now we're looking at what I consider a matrix of liberation movements around the world. Now what's hot right now is the situation in Turkey, where the people are rising up. And there will always be the desire for freedom. It's in our nature to be free. So we need to understand what's going on in the world, and at the same time not forget what's going on in our own homes, in our local communities, in our backyards, and to live as free and liberated as we can. Remember, we're a 3-part being. We're a trinity: the mind, body, and soul. So we have to be conscious of that and be aware. Be selective about what you choose to put into your brain, let alone your food. We're being poisoned by Monsanto. There's so much shit going on it gets scary. Not even talking about the concentration camps we call prisons. And we should be talking about that, about prison abolition, getting rid of prisons. You know, and if we need institutions like that, they should be well-staffed, well-trained medical facilities. And I don't mean like Vacaville. Basically, we can't just fix certain portions of the society and not look at the overall dung heap that we're in. You know, we need to look at the logical possibility and the rational necessity of global revolution. Global revolution. Revolution needs to be global. It can't just be regional, say in a socialist country, then it will always be under threat by global fascism. So we're all connected, you know, at one level or another, to one degree or another. We are all connected. You know, we're in relationship with each other. We're in relationship with the sun, the stars, the galaxy, the cosmos. It's all what I consider connected reality. So, though we try to simplify the complex, not complicate the simple, some stuff is complex. Thus our minds must become more and more complex to comprehend connected reality in our consciousness. There's just so much to be done, so much going on. I'm just sharing this one little video. I'm a poor man, and I appreciate my blessings. I got a little bunker here. Do what you can to understand what's going on. Give a damn. People are dying. People are going hungry and starving to death. So get involved in your local community and get involved actually in your own personal life. You know, all this is going to be based upon the individual. One individual can make a difference. So let's do what we can to keep our hopes up, spiritual warfare. You know, not be discouraged by the overwhelming odds. And keep in mind that we are of the people. We are all of the people. There is really only one race, and that's the human race. Though most consider black, brown, yellow, white as separate races, the whole concept of race was a social invention. And it has been useful, like the Roman formula, divide and conquer. I want you to keep an open mind. You know, keep an open heart. You know, I'm no spiritual leader. I'm no guru. You know, I'm a crazy Chicano and proud of it. I look at people around me in my world, or in the world, and many of them are apathetic. Some arrogant activists call them zombies, and they're not. Some call them sheepy or sheep, and they're not. They're human beings who are afraid, who have fear. They're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to reach out to each other for help. So we must be humble and truly loving, mature. We need to grow up. And no one has all the answers. So, in the process of liberating ourselves, we create liberation movements. If they are ultimately based upon the individual, one individual can make a key difference. And so, when we look at politics in general, don't get stuck on racial, ethnic, tribal politics. Though all those forms of politics are a part of the big picture. We need to look at each other as family of humanity. And in the process of doing that, learn about each other's culture. Learn another language. Study the history of Mexican Americans in the USA. Study the history, black history. Study the history of the United States, the history of other countries. See, all this helps you to understand better why people are the way they are, especially from other countries. And the USA is not the center of the universe. Though it's a critical country. What we do here in the USA can have repercussions all around the world. So we need to see that we are in a strategic spot here in the USA. What we do here can help many other people beyond our artificial borders. On that note, I believe we need to get rid of borders. If there's ever a global revolution that's successful, there won't be any borders. Where we all have to learn how to work together, to share available resources, to repair the damage that's been done. So there's a lot of work to be done. We're an endangered species. We may not outlast this century. This is real. We may not even outlast this decade. So just be mindful of that, and you got to figure it out for yourself. No video, no book, no guru is going to do that for you. It's your homework. Your homework. For me, life is a double helix, based upon my spiritual liberation as I strive for global revolution. And I take one day at a time. I work a spiritual liberation program based upon the 12 steps, and I want us all to come together as one people on one planet in order to bring about peace on earth. Peace on earth. That's it for now. I'm learning better how to do this video stuff, so forgive me of any errors. Want to write dirty, nasty comments in the bottom, go ahead. I ain't tripping. I don't take things personally. So, thank you for your time and your attention, and let us love one another. Namaste.